Hello there, and welcome to the recap and reflection for session 44. I'm mainly going to be just commentating on the few pivotal moments I felt in this session. And really, the first pivotal moment was the first moment in the game, really, when Jacques runs off into the forest from last session. Now, only part of the party went to go follow him. We'll see if this comes up in any of Jacques' roleplay, because I've given Matt some direction and where he could take this whole feeble mind thing, being feeble-minded, and we kind of work together, and maybe time just doesn't feel like normal time when you're that dumb, like I'm not going to say a dog is dumb, but let's just say, what does time feel like to a dog? You leave for, let's say, a day at work, right? And you come back and your dog's just super happy, hopefully, at least, to see you. It's going to be a similar thing with Jacques. His mind is acting a little different right now, obviously. He can't understand language, but he can tell friend from foe. Now, what will it mean to him in future sessions when he is cured? What will that mean to Jacques? Will he remember that act of kindness? And, maybe these people he's been with for a while now, he didn't really think of them as friends, perhaps. But now that they sought him out and calmed him down, which is what happened in the session, part of them, half of them, went to find Jacques with Alexander / Aenos kind of trying to get on the trail of Lydia immediately. Cricket didn't want to leave Alexander alone, so he stood by, but they did eventually go find Jacques. But anyways, what will happen because the party did try to find Jacques, because they could have totally just been like, all right, he's not our issue. I really hope they wouldn't, because that would be really shitty. But you kind of never really know what the players are going to do. But anyways, from there, after they calmed Jacques down, they had this cute little group hug moment. And I think Constance did a calm emotion or did something to Aenos. I can't recall. I know this is a recap and reflection, but I can't recall at the moment. I think he did. That allowed Aenos to calm down a little bit more and join in on the group hug, which everyone loves. Well, not everyone. Everyone doesn't love group hugs, and we know Aenos definitely doesn't. But he decided that they should really keep going and trying to find this Lydia. Without too much deliberation, the party was like, yeah, we should go. We should go do this immediately, even though they've already slept a full night, almost a full night from when she was taken. So, they already have at this point about a 12-hour head start on the capturing of Lydia. So they decided not to do a short rest. And I bring that up because of what happens next. Well, in the next few parts. So they follow the trail. And here's where kind of you could tell we haven't been playing for a while. Here's where it kind of creeps up on you, because the players suddenly start talking about, well, I don't have this. I'm not good at this. And they're role playing, ROLL playing, with the what numbers are in their character sheet and such like that. But all that being said, it's okay because we haven't played in 6 months. So we lost a lot of familiarity that we were actually starting to get, because when we stopped playing, we were playing 2 to 3 times a month for, I think, 2 or 3 months straight. And then we had a hiatus. But anyways, let's bring it back around. The group tracked a trail going away from Devran out of the base and around the cliffs. Then the trail led inward, over the cliffs essentially, and where they found 2 lovable guards. Well, one of them lovable. We had a small little 5-minute break And I basically told Matt in like 2 minutes. I was like, hey, since Jacques is a little brain dead, how about you play an NPC? Here's some brief things that I didn't just type up. I typed up earlier that day, if that counts. And I said, here are some things. Basically, he doesn't trust half the guard. He's only been here for 6 months. Yada, yada, yada. Captain Brits, that we'll cover here in a minute. He doesn't really trust him, or at least he's been acting differently the past few months. Yada, 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 right? And Matt was like, they're going to kill me. And so in Matt's mind, the only way he could really make him not be killed instantly is make him into a halfling and kind of disarm them with charm. Now, this is where Matt being an NPC and he's normally a player works out in kind of my favor. Because if it was me playing a halfling, I'm pretty sure that Atlas or Alexander would kill me. I'm pretty sure on that. But Matt didn't. Matt actually got them to be disarmed. All their weapons off of them. And Timothy actually thought the group was a traveling, a traveling band or something, choir performance, church choir, because they had a priest and a bard, and then their mercenary friend probably is what he imagined. He did not see Atlas still hiding because Atlas is just almost invisible if he has stuff to hide in. And Jacques was just their simple-minded friend. So the thing is, this Timothy fellow had orders. These orders said that anyone caught adventuring or venturing into these woods were to be questioned by Captain Brits. The players reluctantly complied instead of just killing this Timothy fellow and Nathan. So they're taken to this ancient watchtower that has stood the test of time. It's been on this coast, protecting the borders, kind of keeping eye out for any dangers present to the capital. It's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, but they stroll up to it and they see an unactivated stone golem, which has kind of hounded them off and on in their travels. At least they know that there's this woman called the Stag, and she activated 2 stone golems whenever the party passed through these city gates. And they also found, I believe, a stone golem in the caves, in the undersea tunnels. So they know by now, hopefully, that whenever they see these guys, it means business, and not a good type of business. They're marched upstairs, and Brits basically just accuses them of killing a caravan of people east of Port Valor. Now, what really happened out there, if you pay attention, or you might need a refresher because, it's been a long, long time. That's where they faced the bandits, where they met Constance. And they actually killed, I can't even remember his name, that Death Slod that transformed all the time into gray-looking human. They killed him. And news of that reached someone. Definitely not the king, because how would the king know about this Death Slod? That should be the first inkling that something is very, 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 very wrong here. Then Captain Brits said, arrest them. All the while, Atlas is listening to this conversation. He has Levitate on himself, and he's trying to find a way to get up there. But Levitate's very slow moving, so it takes him a while to get up there. When they say arrest them, Cricket and Aenos freak out, and initiative starts. So Brits jumps over the table with a glaive, and Timothy and Nathan was sent downstairs, but he comes up in a second. Now let's talk about this battle that ensued. Brits is essentially a Blackguard NPC that I've tweaked a bit. That being said, I misread the Thunderous Smite. I thought it lasted for a minute, like on your first hit of every round, but it's actually just your first hit when you're casting that is when it's enacted. And if let's say you miss all 3 attacks on your turn, as long as you maintain concentration on it, it's still active until you first hit with it. but he only did it, I think, 4 times, which is the max amount that he can do it. So it still would have worked just fine, because he didn't use a bonus action other than to cast that at any point in time. But he cast Thunder Smite, which alerted everyone in the tower that something was going on. Now, Brits is a bad motherfucker, like, especially when the group doesn't have their weapons. And here's the thing that bit them in the ass. They actually probably could have taken this fight if they had done a short rest, because Aenos did not have any of his maneuvers, and Cricket, I don't believe, had any of his inspiration points left that he regains on a short rest, I believe. So they were kind of spent, and not all of them were fully healed up. So it was a losing battle, which Constance and Jacques, well, Jacques was simple-minded. He was just kind of mimicking and trying to get away from danger as fast as possible. And Cillian, even, the NPC, just threw down their arms and was like, all right, I surrender. Aenos fought until he's unconscious, and Cricket almost escaped. He doesn't want to be bound in a cage. He ran through some guards, and he was struck down. He was so close to doing it, though. He only had to get by the stone golem, and that would have been something to see. I really wish he had succeeded. He was so close. Yes, I could have fudged the dice, but I didn't. All the while, Atlas is upstairs. He just came in, and he heard the sound of battle stop. And that's essentially the whole session. It may not seem like a lot, but the party did seem to have a lot of fun with it. And which isn't too bad considering I had, I think, 2 hours of sleep going into it and wrote very, very, very little, which is sometimes the best because your mind is in an active state or a heightened state. And coffee helps as well. Now, here's what some of the players had to say after the session.
So, for one thing, I loved it. I loved the session. It was great no matter how the outcome. But for one thing, never, ever expect persuasion checks or any roll to hinge on plot. You either have us go to jail or you don't, because I guarantee you half of us are going to do exactly what happened. Some of us are going to try to talk.
Oh, I know.
The other half of us are going to try to fight. So those rolls probably wouldn't have been high enough anyway. I guarantee you that much.
I mean, it was
so.
This guy essentially, well, there's stuff that you don't know about yet. He essentially, no check was going to work on him anyways.
Right.
And you got the vibe of that immediately, Constance.
Yep.
You know?
And the desk, what I was really hoping for was there was something valuable there that was going to distract, like it was more important to solve that, let the guards take care of it, because I was just hoping, right? But now what's going to happen is all the evidence is gone because Atlas lit on fire, right? Which is like...
Hey, you said it's on the floor? You said all the papers
some of it is on the floor. I'll roll like a percentile dice and...
I want you all to know I'm not a total idiot. I did think about that. I was like, man, it's either I'm going to burn the evidence or I distract him for a couple of rounds as he tries to put out the fire, and that helps. Well, so
I was going to say, he did. DM did say that he slid something into the desk. So
well, like he looked at something, looked at you, and covered it up.
And Atlas saw it, but I wasn't able to. I was only a couple points off on perception or whatever, knowing exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But I saw something about the desk, and I was like, I'm gonna light it on fire. Let's see if he cares about it more than you guys.
Cricket, you're still alive.
Am I? Am I still alive?
You're mostly
as far as
dead.
you know.
You're not dead, dead. You're mostly
But
dead.
is he living?
I mean,
is he truly living?
There's a difference between breathing and being alive.
Atlas looks around the corner and he hears the sounds of battle die down while there's plenty of the enemy in the hallway still. I'm probably not going down that hallway, so who knows what I stumble upon.
Yeah.
Because I actually would try to survey on my way out, because ideally I don't want to have to come back in that way. I'd like to kind of hide somewhere in the building, which I don't know if it's possible. We'll see.
This is only the second time in 43 sessions that I've brought the party down.
Yeah.
And
we were half at best going into this.
Yeah, you guys didn't have any. You guys didn't take a short rest, which is fine. In character, it makes sense.
Yep.
Because Alexander
Atlas
is
is gone.
Fucking pushing. He's like,
Constance didn't fight at all.
Well, I mean, like he's Constance sacred flamed him.
Jacques is gone.
I was gonna
We
say,
have a player against us, essentially.
I like
NPC.
Yeah, I mean, he hit what? One? Did he hit?
Yeah, he hit one
once
time.
for 6
It's
points,
like-
which reduced to 3.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna say Timothy did not sway this fight,
Yeah.
but I like hard fights. I just hate that like we got like a really good one that there could have been some strategy used on, and all I could do with my character was sit there and like twiddle my thumbs.
I didn't even have a weapon.
Yeah.
Jacques could have really changed the fight a bit, right? 'Cause,
Freaking Nathan.
you
It
could've made
rolled,
me
like,
small,
outstrengths me
right?
twice to get a weapon.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Good guy.
Jacques could have you turned me into something to get through the crack, so I could have been instantly in the room from the outside. That could have happened.
And you could have
right?
had greater invisibility, which means you can remain concealed after attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So like that, Jacques, I think would have game changed that fight. Atlas being there, honestly, you would have probably had a very similar result. Maybe a couple more dead. Maybe Britt would have gone down, but
Brits could have
I'm
probably.
just gonna say, knowing at least, and Matt, you could have totally different stuff for the other guards, but just looking at the amount of health that Timothy was working with, I feel like Atlas could just go person to person each round and just delete people one at a
Essentially,
time.
like-
well,
Yeah.
we will in the next session.
like-
do that to get that jail cell.
I had fun. I hope everyone else did. I'm sorry about the outcome, like as a person,
Like,
but
yeah.
you're
I mean,
not dead.
I would not have done anything differently.
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
I thought-
I'm not sorry about what happened to me at all.
Yeah,
Jacques
I
does
thought it
not
was a
regret
great
his actions.
role play session with a very interesting battle that kind of doesn't happen very often with the party. You know, you guys don't get surprised or taken out of your element very often. So the fact that Nathan was able to get Anos's, I bet you it was the halfling that disarmed the
honestly
party.
was.
It was like, all right. Also, something that was said by Doug, the person who plays Constance. He said he's kind of glad it went like this because it gives me something to work with, as well as the party to kind of reevaluate some of their choices. Now, I also think the session went pretty well. There are always things I want to improve on after the session, but I do feel that this session went pretty well, all things considered, because I didn't have a lot of things written up for it. I've had very little written. I think I had a couple paragraphs, maybe, with half-finished sentences. Just kind of, there's a tower. That's where they'll go. They'll have this Captain Brits fellow, which I'll save for the next recap and reflection. Now, did I expect them to go to jail? Well, maybe. It was half and half, right? I actually thought if they had gotten a short rest, they probably could have taken on the guard. Or I actually thought they would infiltrate, possibly, maybe capturing Timmy and forcing him to talk. There were a couple different things they could have done. One was just straight out killing Timothy. Straight out killing Timothy and then somehow infiltrating or bringing the fight to them on their terms with their weapons after a short rest. Probably would have worked better in this case. But because, and this is a plus to John's role playing on this one, he was so into finding Lydia that he kind of forsaked his allies' health and well-being. As such, the party was unprepared to deal with a threat like this. So it's always interesting when things like that happen in your sessions. Now, after watching this, feel free to watch the next episode. Session 45 is coming up, I do believe. I'll have it posted shortly after uploading this, within a day or so at most. And you can see what happens to the group in prison. Does Cricket die? Which would just feel so bad because I really like Cricket as a character, but the roles are the roles. And you'll just have to find out on the next session. Anyways, that wraps up this recap and reflection. I know it's a short one, but the session was kind of short in itself. Not a whole lot of progression when you're single-mindedly tracking someone because you're outside of the world of normal plot. Please feel free to comment down below, ask any further questions you might have, whether it is about my DMing or the story itself or the characters. I know Doug browses the comments from time to time. And go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already. I don't know how the hell you're even watching this video if you're not subscribed. Diving in deep. But that's all for this time. I'll see everyone next time. Take care, everyone.